That's mine.
The brakes are off. 1, 2 and 3 start rolling. 1 second later, reds 4 and 5. And 2.5 seconds later, reds 6, 7, 8, 9 for the display takeoff. You can see already reds 4 and 5 have gone to join reds 1, 2 and 3. And at the back, reds 6, 7, 8 and 9 have formed a box formation. The idea of the display takeoff is to get all 9 aircraft off the runway and into a formation of 9 as soon as possible.
First, you know.
Red 6 now leads that back 4 into form our diamond 9 shape. The Red Arrows are a military unit of the Royal Air Force in the United Kingdom, and we are made up of around 120 personnel, all who volunteer to join the team. The Red Arrows pilots wear red suits, but the support sections wear blue suits. We call them the Blues. Mainly they are made up of engineers, but we have photographers, suppliers, administrators and drivers who represent a cross-section of the ground trades within the Royal Air Force. There are only 11 pilots on the team, but there are 109 Blues on the team, so they easily outnumber the pilots, and it's the Blues who work hard throughout the year to make sure that our summer season is a success. So the pilots are now getting the aircraft ready for the display. They're getting the aircraft in trim. They'll now prime the smoke systems to make sure that the smoke pipes are full of the coloured smoke, ready for the display. We have 3 types of display we can fly depending on the weather. Our full display allows looping manoeuvres to be flown, but that requires a cloud base of around 6,000 feet. If it's lower than 6,000 feet, we can fly our rolling display, in which we can fly our formation barrel rolls. If the cloud base is below 2,500 feet, then we have to fly our flat display, which essentially is a series of flypaths in different formation shapes. Well, Red 1 will decide what the cloud base is. He gets a better view from the air as to what the cloud base will be, and he will decide what type of show he wants to fly. He may have gaps with the blue sky you can see around, in which he can change from one show to another. So they might start with a rolling show and then see if the gap opens up, they can move into our full display. When the aircraft arrive, there will be a formation called Big Battle. The jets in this formation are around 3 meters apart, and they'll be flying at speed of 400 knots, so just about 800 kilometers per hour. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I have been a Red Arrows display pilot myself, so I do know that the pilots will be able to see you waving as they fly past, especially when they go upside down. So when I tell you, I want all the arms in the air giving the pilots a wave. And if your claps and cheers are loud enough, I will transmit them to the pilots on my radio. Well, Red 1 has said they're going to start with a rolling display until some gaps open up to go for. So here they are, please. A big round of applause. The Royal Air Force Aerobatic Team, the Red Arrows. You'll now see the aircraft close to around 1.5 to 2 metres apart as they form a short diamond shape. The team is led by Red 1 squadron leader Jim Turner. It's Jim's third and final year as team leader. He is a former Jaguar pilot. He has lots of display experience, having displayed the Jaguar, spent 3 years previously with the Red Arrows, and also spent 3 years with the Royal Saudi display team. In from the left now, this is Short Diamond. It's 4 and 5, pitch up to roll back to form a shape known as Apollo, aimed to depict the planned form of the lunar landing craft from the Apollo missions. Reds 2 and 3 now acknowledge the move to Eagle. The smoke comes on and the 3 aircraft on each wing will drop back to form the planned form of the American fighter jet, the F-15 Eagle. And from the right-hand side now, this is the Eagle roll. This is a point where the pilots will see you, boys and girls. Give them a big wave. Well, the Red Arrows formed in 1965. The aircraft they used was known as the Holland Gnat, and that was the advanced jet trainer within the Royal Air Force at that time. But in 1976, the Hawker Siddeley Hawk entered service with the Royal Air Force, and in 1980, the Red Arrows began using the Hawk as their aircraft. This version of Hawk is the T-Mark 1. We have a new version in the Royal Air Force, the T-Mark 2, which is a new advanced jet trainer. Out to the left now, the team have formed another shape. This is named after the Su-27, the Russian fighter jet, and it's known as Flanker. To form a very wide shape. You'll see Reds 8 and 9 move across to the outside of the formation. And from Red 8's right wing through to Red 9's left wing, the formation will be 100 metres wide. And to present it and move it around as one shape, the pilots have to anticipate their control inputs, so they use the cadence in Red 1's voice commands. But now in from the left, with some more wonderful red, white and blue, this is Phoenix. On the leader's right wing is the first of our 2 first-year pilots. He is Red 2, Flight Lieutenant Stu Campbell. Stu is a former Tucano instructor, and he was the Tucano display pilot. We used the Tucano in the Royal Air Force to teach our basic fast jet training. Then Stu moved on to fly the Tornado GR4 operationally. Out to the right, the smoke's on for our trademark shape, and a good opportunity to see all 9 jets smoking as they perform the Diamond Roll. We might fly the majority of our shapes with the odd-numbered pilots on the left-hand side. The even-numbered pilots fly on the right-hand side. On the leader's left wing now is the other of our first-year pilots. He is Red 3, Flight Lieutenant Joe Hurston. Joe is a former Hawk flying instructor, and then operationally he flew the Tornado GR4. In fact, Joe has instructed on both this version of Hawk, the T Mark 1, and also the Royal Air Force's newest trainer, the Hawk T Mark 2. Out to the left, the smoke goes off as the team have formed the iconic shape of Concorde. Now Red 1's changed it to a full display with that gap opening, and at 400 miles an hour, the Concorde loop. Pulling up at 4G. The apex of this loop will be around 6,000 feet, and you can see the shape is changing again, this time to feathered arrow. And at the top of the loop, the aircraft has slowed down to about 250 kilometers per hour. The G is backed off to 1G, and as they start coming down the other side of the loop, the aircraft accelerates to around 4G and 400 miles an hour in feathered arrow. Well, that is the end of the first half of the Red Arrows display, ladies and gentlemen, where you've seen close formation with all 9 aircraft. We're now going to be splitting the formation down into sections of 2, 3, 4, 5 or 7 jets. At the front of the formation are Reds 1 to 5. We call Reds 1 to 5 Enid, after the British author Enid Blyton and her books The Famous Five. At the back, Reds 6 to 9 we call Jippo. We're about to start the second half of the display, so get your cameras ready as the jets roll up directly to the front. They are going to perform the detonator. Here you go, Enid. Now keep your eyes on Jippo underneath. On the left-hand side, with his red smoke changing to white, is Red 6 and leader of the synchro pair, Flight Lieutenant James Macmillan. It's James's third and final year as a Red Arrow. He is a former Hawk instructor and Harrier pilot, and he grew up in New Zealand. On the left, he's chased down by Red 8. Looking right with the smoke on is Red 7, chased down by Red 9. The closing speed of these aircraft is now around 1,500 kilometers per hour. Get your cameras ready now for the amazing Jippo pass. The synchro pair now leave their smoke on. They turn away from us at 6G, 6 times the force of gravity. So they work hard to counter the G-forces as they point towards us and fly the Cyclone. As the synchro pair slingshot out to the front, look to your left to find Enid. The wings of Enid have dropped down to form an upside-down V-shape, and if you look to your right, there's Red 9, and he's now going to complete the Goose. Climbing steeply to the left with a red, white and blue stripe is Red 9, Flight Lieutenant Mike Child. It's Mike's third and final year with the team. He is a former Hawk instructor, Hawk display pilot, and then he flew the Typhoon, the Royal Air Force's newest fighter. Enid climbs steeply to the right and look to the front now to find Red 6, 7 and 8. Red 7 and 8 start rolling around Red 6 before they split in the vortex. Up through the middle of the vortex with the white smoke is Red 8, Flight Lieutenant Martin Pert. Perty is in his third and final year with the team, another former Hawk flying instructor, Hawk display pilot and Harrier GR9 pilot. Watching the synchro pair again. Red 6 is on the left with the white smoke, Red 7 on the right. They're going to descend down to just 100 feet or 30 metres above the ground and perform the opposition barrel roll. To the right-hand side, where Enid have been joined by Reds 8 and 9. They are in battle formation. The coloured smoke will come on as they perform the revolution. Each of the pilots there in the revolution manoeuvre performing an aileron roll, essentially just a full left-hand control column input to roll the aircraft around its longitudinal axis, and they rejoined that battle formation. So the smoke goes off, we need to look left and right again for the synchro pair. This time, Red 6 from the right and Red 7 from the left. They're closing at around 1400 kilometers per hour. They're going to cross 3 times in opposing 360-degree 6G turns. This is the carousel. Now look to your right 45 degrees to find Enid. With some more red, white and blue, Enid are going to draw the shape of a snake in the sky as they fly the Python. On the far right of that formation is Red 4. He is Flight Lieutenant Ollie Parr. Ollie is in his second year as a Red Arrow, and he is a former Tornado GR4 pilot, and then he also has spent time as a Hawk flying instructor teaching our advanced flying training. Keep looking left now to find Jippo. Red 6 and 7 roll upside down. This is the corkscrew. Now, boys and girls, give the synchro pair a wave as they fly past upside down. 7 now, working hard, only flying his jet 2 metres away from Red 6. Look left now for Enid. The inside pilots roll to the outside in the rollbacks. Enid finish their rollbacks. Keep looking right to find Jippo. Once again, Reds 6 and 7 are going to fly upside down. Reds 8 and 9 will match their formation underneath in the mirror pass. Red 6 gives the commands for the 4 aircraft now to roll out and form a 4-ship square card. Look to your right, 45 degrees now for Enid. Reds 1 to 4 form a box formation. And here goes Red 5 rolling around them 10 times in the twister. With his red smoke on, getting very busy after all those rolls, is Red 5. He is Flight Lieutenant Steve Morris. He is a second-year pilot with the team, also a former Hawk flying instructor and Harrier GR9 pilot. He's also flown the Tornado GR4. Look to the front now to find Jippo. Get your cameras ready as Reds 8 and 9 roll around 6 and 7 in the Jippo break. Side with his smoke on is Red 7, Synchro number 2, Flight Lieutenant Mark Lawson. It's Mark's second year with the team. His background is solely on the Tornado GR4, where he was a qualified weapons instructor. The Synchro pair are now descending for their final manoeuvre of the display. These are the double rolls. Ladies and gentlemen, the Synchro pair. Now look directly to the front where you'll see Enid are being joined by Reds 8 and 9. They're in a 7-ship Vixen formation, and this is the Vixen break. You've been watching the Royal Air Force aerobatic team, the Red Arrows. Red 1 puts his smoke on. He's now going to gather all 9 aircraft back together. They're going to come and land here at Gilze Rijen, where our team of blues on the other side of the runway will service the aircraft and get them ready for our transit back to the UK, where we have a display this afternoon in Bristol. and then tomorrow we head to Denmark for a display, and then on Monday we're going to Estonia. Yeah, we're going to Estonia on Monday, and that is the first time the team will have displayed in Estonia. So that will make it 56 countries in which the team have displayed. If you'd like to find out more about the team, you can visit our website, which is raf.mod.uk/Reds, or search online for Red Arrows. Our Facebook page is RAF Red Arrows, and on Twitter we are at RAF Red Arrows. Shortly in from the right-hand side, you'll see the formation recovering in Big Battle. So that big V shape in which the aircraft arrived to start the display. And they'll be coming in from the right to then peel off downwind to the right-hand side at around 350 knots, just under 700 kilometers per hour. They'll peel off sequentially, Reds 1 to 9, and then they will be landing on the runway. The odd-numbered pilots land on the left-hand side, and the even-numbered pilots land on the right-hand side. You'll see Red 1 just put a small amount of smoke out as he comes into land, and that's to give the following pilots an idea of what the wind is doing, and therefore what their wake turbulence and jet wash is doing, so they know how it might affect them. I'd just like to say a big hello to Danny, who's in the crowd today. He's bought a gift for the team. We're looking forward to trying some of those biscuits later on, so thank you, Danny. But now in from the right-hand side, so run in and brake to land. Some more red, white and blue smoke for hosting us so well in the Netherlands. Thank you very much. Braking to land, the Red Arrows. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. As the pilots land, you can wave to them as they taxi past on the runway. It's been a pleasure being here. Thank you very much for all your fantastic hospitality. We hope to come back to the Netherlands next year. But for now, I wish you all the very best on behalf of the Royal Air Force and from everybody at the Red Arrows. Enjoy the rest of the air show. Thank you.
Terwijl de laatste Red Arrows hier achter elkaar op de baan landen, I'd like to thank squadron leader Mike Lee. Thank you very much. And Red Arrows, thank you very much for a beautiful display here at Gilze Rijen on the air show days of the Royal Netherlands Air Force.
Ik dacht dat je ging zeggen luchtmechdays, maar oké, dat is dus goed afgelopen, gelukkig. Ach ja. Dat was geweldig mooi en het is elke keer weer fantastisch om die Red Arrows te zien. Ik vind ze misschien wel het beste demo-team van de hele grote wijde wereld. Al is daar wat discussie over dat de Blue Angels, ja, die kunnen dichter bij elkaar. En de jongens, de Thunderbirds, die zijn ook heel erg wild. Maar de precisie en de zuiverheid waarmee de Blue Angels, waarmee de Red Arrows werken. En het voortdurend, dat er altijd wat is om naar te kijken, dat maakt hen voor mij